Hey guys and gals and my fellow VEDS-ies, welcome back to another day of VEDS. In today's video, it's going to be a rather quick one, as it's going to be me essentially doing my own challenge. For those of you who remember, back on day 7, I released a challenge video where I gave a bunch of the VEDS-ies a challenge if they wanted to do it. And today, I'm actually going to be doing my challenge to Pip, which was to pitch a Muppet version of any of the 3 properties that I gave to them. I think I said Hairspray, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and The Shawshank Redemption. Well, I'm not doing any of those. I'm actually doing one that one of my friends asked me about privately, which was Muppet Back to the Future. As if you couldn't tell, I kind of like Back to the Future. Now, up to my side here, I've assembled a list of pretty much any of the major and minor players in Back to the Future. I'm sure there are some that I am missing, but for the sake of keeping things somewhat concise, I've narrowed it down to about 20 or 21 characters or, things. And I'm going to replace pretty much all of them but one person with a Muppet. I'm going to be starting with the more minor characters and then leading up to the more heavy hitters towards the end. And all this is to say, if you agree or disagree with any of my choices for Muppet Back to the Future, leave them in the comments down below and let's spark a conversation about this. But before you do that, let's actually get to what I said. So, for the Huey Lewis Judge cameo, this is at the beginning of the movie at, Marty's audition. That was a cameo by Huey Lewis. He is not going to be making a cameo in this movie. I have another person picked for the human part, but for his role, I'm actually going to give that to Statler and Waldorf. For Lou, the owner of Lou's Diner in the town square, the one who tells Goldie Wilson there'll never be a colored mayor, Mr. Carruthers, Lou Carruthers is probably, I think, his name. I'm actually giving that role to the Swedish Chef. For Old Man Peabody, the one whose farm Marty knocks one of the trees over that turns it from Twin Pines Mall to Lone Pine Mall, the one who Doc says thought he'd make a living breeding pine trees. That is actually going to be played by Sweetums, mostly because Sweetums has a history of running after certain vehicles. Biff's gang, Skinhead, 3D, and Match are actually going to be played in Muppet Back to the Future by Rizzo the Rat, Pepe the King Prawn, and Animal. Einstein the dog, yes, I'm casting him. And we're going to make him a Muppet dog. We're going to make him Sprocket from Fraggle Rock. The Clock Tower lady, the one who Marty gives the coin to, who in turn gives him the flyer that tells him how to get back to the future. I'm actually going to change that. It's no longer going to be the Clock Tower lady, it's going to be the Clock Tower man. And I figured that character should be played by Scooter. Now we're starting to, thin the herd a little bit, and we're going to get into Lorraine's family. So, for Milton Baines, this is Lorraine's, I think, brother, I'm actually going to split that part now into 2, and it's going to be Andy and Randy Pig from Muppets Tonight. Stella Baines, Lorraine's mother, I've actually picked to be Miss Poogie from the Muppets 2011 and Muppets Most Wanted series of movies, which leaves Lorraine's father, Sam Baines, to be played by Link Hogthrob. Now, Marty McFly's brother and sister, Dave McFly and Linda McFly. For them, I have Linda McFly being played, and trust me, this will make sense in a minute, by Ma Bear, aka Fozzie's mother. And Dave McFly would be played by Bobo the Bear. You see where I'm going with this now? Marvin Berry is going to be played by Dr. Teeth, which would leave the rest of the Starlighters, Marvin Berry and the Starlighters, would be played by the rest of the members of the Electric Mayhem who don't already have parts. Goldie Wilson, the soon-to-be mayor who's going to clean up this town, is going to be played by Rolf the Dog. Principal Strickland, really, is there any other person or Muppet this could go to? This is going to be Sam Eagle. I mean, come on, it's literally right there. Jennifer Parker, Marty McFly's love interest, is going to be played by Janice from the Electric Mayhem. Biff Tannen. Now this is going to be our one human character of the film, because really, who else could play Biff Tannen but Thomas F. Wilson? And come on, you don't think he'd take the opportunity? I think he would jump at the opportunity to play Biff again alongside a Muppet cast. Which leaves our final 4 remaining characters, our 4 main characters of Muppet Back to the Future. Marty McFly, Doc Brown, George McFly, and Lorraine Baines. So, let's talk about George and Lorraine. George and Lorraine, this to me was kind of a no-brainer. Kermit the Frog is George, Lorraine is Miss Piggy. And now, Marty McFly and Doc Brown. Now, I went back and forth with two different versions. Version 1, which I did not end up going with, was that this would be a movie, Muppet Back to the Future would be technically led by Dr. Bunsen Honeydew as Doc Brown, and Beaker as Marty McFly. Problem is, Beaker doesn't talk. He speaks in meeps, and, Bunsen usually translates. So, as much as that probably makes sense, when you look at the Muppets as a whole as to who would be the scientist and who would be their assistant, I instead tended to go with a bit more of an off-kilter choice, a pairing that we really don't see often that much in Muppet media, if Kermit isn't present, which is why I am saying, for my version of Muppet Back to the Future, Doc Brown is going to be played by the Great Gonzo, which would leave Marty McFly to be played by Fozzie Bear. Which is why a lot of the McFly clan are played by bears, which was very hard, by the way, because there's not a lot of Muppet Bears, and why all of the Baines family had to be pigs. I tried to sort of keep it consistent in that way. Now, as for how a bear family could birth Kermit the Frog as George McFly, well, they're brothers. Don't you remember the Great Muppet Caper?
We thought identical twins working on a newspaper would make an interesting story.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Especially since you two guys don't look anything alike.
Well, that's because Fozzie's not wearing his hat. Fozzie, put your hat back on.
Oh, yes, sir. See?
Oh, yeah.
But those were my picks for Muppet Back to the Future. Again, keeping Thomas F. Wilson as Biff Tannen. Let me know what you thought of any of these choices down in the comment section down below. And until tomorrow, guys, gals, and my fellow VEDS-ies, I will see you tomorrow. And, yeah, in case anybody was wondering, yes, I intentionally left Camilla the Chicken out, because if we played Back to the Future Part 3 with Muppets, she would play Clara Clayton. So that power couple would be complete. Bye.